Hey, good evening to you folks. It is good to see you and it is good to be seen by you. We are having camera difficulties. Pardon me just a moment. This has happened before. Come on, reset. Reset. There we go. My apologies, friends. Hi, hello, Wheeling Dragon. How are you? It's good to see you. How is everyone? TXG, greetings. Hello, Jimmy Invictus. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic evening. And everything's going just swimmingly for you. Mark Morrison, hello. Heading to the Keep on the Borderlands. Bree Arc to you too. Disclaimers for everyone. So, greetings, Jorge. And welcome to the show. So, I hope everyone is having a good Monday evening. I'm having a pretty good one. Nick Laserbeam, greetings. And we've got Kabuki, hello. Jimmy Invictus, member for 4 months. The new orc art has you craving tacos. Yes. I think it's got all of us craving tacos. Some folks didn't like what I had to say today. I lost a couple of subs on that, but that happens. If you're new here, if you don't know what it is we do, most of the time I avoid the culture conf stuff, and or perhaps I should say culture la guerre. But anyway, we have fun here. We talk about classic tabletop RPG stuff. We have great guests on the show from time to time, and we play a lot of classic TTRPG stuff here. In that, we play at least twice a week. We play first edition AD&D on Tuesday nights, and we play Classic Gamma World on Friday nights. Both of those are a lot of fun, and I recommend you tune in and enjoy. So, let's go ahead and get right to it. RPG news. There's some interesting stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. It's kind of new-ish. Well, it's newish to me. I've been asleep at the switch lately, guys. I haven't, a lot of stuff's been going on, and I haven't been paying attention things as much as I should have. Have I seen the OSR game Shadow? I don't know that it's really OSR. It seems to be built around 5th edition. Jimmy, I've heard of it. I've certainly heard of it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. Nobody has contacted me about sending me like a reader's copy or anything like that. So I don't really know that I would be reviewing it, but there we go. This past weekend was free RPG day. And for the first time in many years, I didn't do anything. And I felt kind of bad about that. Like, I didn't reach out to my FLGS. I didn't set up anything. So I'm kind of down about that. But I did pick something up, and I meant to have it over here to show you guys. So pardon me while I run around and pick that up real quick. Hang on. Just going over here. So what I picked up a copy of, this is from Free League. This is called Dragonbane, and it's based on Free League's system. It's a very lightweight kind of system. I haven't really dived into it, but it seems pretty sincere about bringing a very basic D&D style approach. I will probably give this a review coming up because I've been meaning to do more contentful stuff during the week, interstitials. So expect a review of Dragonbane coming soon. It says the Sinking Tower is an official tournament adventure for the Dragonbane RPG. The adventure offers difficult challenges for even the bravest and most skilled adventurers. The players will need to work together to solve puzzles, win battles, and find valuable treasure, all in just 2 hours. Dragonbane is a game full of magic, mystery, and adventure, designed for fast play with very little prep time and adventures that are a breeze to run. This new quick start includes condensed rules, a complete adventure, and 7 pre-gen characters. All you need to play is a few dice and your imagination. So we'll have to see how this is. I will give it a full review. I may even be able to give it a play test with some players. We will see. We will see. But for now, I will put it on the shelf over here. I got to get another bookcase in here, and I've got the room for it. So hopefully I can free up some shelves around these parts. But anyway, so moving along. You know what? Do you guys want to do a mini view like right now? Like see the mini that I'm going to show off? Hang on a second. Let me extend the legs a bit of the tripod, and we can do that. So, come on. This thing. This, by the way, is a light stand. It just so happens to have the correct jack for camera mounting. It's got that standard camera mount kind of jack on it. So I use it for all the wrong purposes, but I will show that to you guys. I will show you guys the cool mini thing that I got. Michael Dale, good evening. So let's take a look at this. And what I have to show is actually really, really cool. I like it quite a lot. So let's go to the old tripod cam. There we go. And what I got was actually, is that coming in? Is this. It's not focusing very nicely. Move that camera back a little bit. Thank you. I'm not talking to anybody. That was just me. It is this little fox holding a 20-sider. Mrs. the Dungeon Delver got this for me at a book convention, at an author's convention she was at this weekend. And that's not just coincidence that it's that I tucked a D20 in there. That's what it's designed for. Is it a luck dragon? I don't know. I think it's a luck fox. But the dice that's in there is actually from the Dudragao Dice Advent set, which of course the camera's not going to focus on. Focus, focus, focus. There we go. Here is the original one. And you can see they're very similar. This is a nice D20, but I felt like the actual stone, I don't know if that's like opal, not obviously not gemstone quality opal, but I just liked it in there a bit more. So Foxy has a D20. And I think that's pretty cool. And he is 3D printed, by the way. I think he's printed with like a dual color silk thread PLA. But we will put him right here. And he will watch both D20s for us. So there he sits in his place of honor. So that's the mini view tonight. I thought that was pretty cool. You found a website where they actually make dice out of human bone. That is horrific. That is absolutely horrific, and I would not accept those as a gift. I have some mammoth bone dice. Are they up here? Oh no, they're in they are, oh, here they are. Here they are. These are our mammoth bone dice, which I will show to you guys if you want to see them, since we're in the dice kind of mood. Let's see. Where did the button go? Who moved the button? We can't. There we go. All right. So it's not focusing very well. But yes, those tiny dice are made from mammoth bone. They were given to me by Eric, which I think fits quite nicely. Civil War era bone dice, those could very well be actual ivory. It wants you to read the Akira sticker. Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, so that's the miniature view tonight. But that's not the last time we're going to be talking about miniatures. No, indeed. In fact, let's jump right into RPG news. And now I have two pieces of RPG news for you guys tonight. One of which is more of a let's discuss, and the other one is like a very old school centric RPG news thing. So we'll do that one first. So window. But I want to. Okay, so I know none of us are particularly happy with WizKids right now, but I thought this was kind of cool, and I think I'm probably going to jump into this. Forgive me, because I just think these things are that cool. These are the Nolzur's miniatures for the 50th anniversary of D&D. This is the pre-orders page. And I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Let me see. Will that expand it out? It will not. But they're actually doing castings. Come on, zoom in. They're actually doing castings that are representations of the monsters from the monster manual, or at least some of them. Popper Knight, hello, good to see you. So there's the dwarf. That is the David Sutherland dwarf, which actually first appears in original D&D. And what else do we have? Here's the elf, which again, I think that's a Dave Sutherland drawing. The elf from the Monster Manual. And we continue on. Oh, I think it was still on elves there. This is the Skeleton Warrior from the Fiend Folio, which I believe was Russ Nicholson. So there's the Skeleton Warrior. And of course, these come with two poses. I don't know why you'd want one that's a skeletal gnoll. That just looks dumb. That just looks like an undead gnoll, but what do I know, right? And now this was pretty cool. This is a Dave Trampier Kobold. And these are 2-packs. You get the old art and the new art. So here's a Dave Trampier Kobold. Here's another one. Or no, I'm sorry. These are goblins. I think the goblins also are Dave Sutherland. Now, I'm going to say this. And of course, you know, everybody loves mimics. So there's the mimic. And again, you get these in a 2-pack. You get the new ones. And you get the old ones. And these are $5.99 a piece. I just might have to pre-order. Are there any more? I don't want to miss any. Oh, that's it. So I'll say this about those. You're not going to build much in the way of like an army. It's too it's two minis for $6. They're $3 a piece. They're plastic. So if you want the low end of a Cobalt Tribe, all the same pose, then you're going to be hurting. You're going to be hurting. Let me say this about Kobolds. For whatever reason, the Kobolds that Reaper does are almost perfect Trampier or Sutherland Kobolds. Let me show you this. The Reaper miniature Kobolds, if you want a classic looking Kobold like it stepped off the page of the Monster Manual, let me see. These are absolutely positively worth your time. They are exceptionally well done. You know what? I can open that in a new window. And I'll show you guys. Let me share this again. That's the Reaper Kobolds, and they look awesome. Again, the Reaper Kobolds look like Monster Manual 1 Kobolds. Do recommend. And in that is 6 of them, and I think that's $6. Granted, they're plastic. You know what? Let's look at the page. Blood Scale Kobold, $6.99, and the 7710 tells me that they're Reaper bones. So the metal ones might, the metal ones would probably set you back like $8 or $9. But I mean, the faces, the poses, everything, these guys look like those. I have about 40 of these in metal that I need to paint. I'll show them to you one day when I'm done painting them. The number of goblins appearing are, I believe, either 20 to 200 or 40 to 400. Let me pull up the old Monster Manual here. Let's see. Monster Manual. Kobold. Kobolds are 40 to 400. Goblins are also 40 to 400. So now you know. And there are also some leader types that you can buy. So if you want, like, they have like a lieutenant with a battle axe in some of the packs. I mean, you can pick which one. It's not blind draw. But they have some other poses where you've got like a lieutenant with a battle axe. You got a couple with clubs, but there's also like a larger leader type with a mace, which I think is particularly nice. Jimmy's got the right of it. Those are fireball numbers. Yes, those are fireball numbers. But anyway, so that's what's going on with the miniatures. Now, the other thing, I found this interesting. This is less old school talk than the miniatures, but I kind of wanted to dip into this a little bit. Because I found the title of this. I mean, look, what are we going to do with people like Chris Cox and Jeremy Crawford, okay? They've established themselves as the enemy of anyone who likes old D&D. And I feel like, you know, they're firing one bombardment after the other. Bill has a special for 50th anniversary. I've seen a worm, Asian dragon, Kurt posing in the AD&D ampersand. Oh, that's very cool, Jay Tyler. But anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at this piece, because I kind of want to address this sort of one point at a time. New D&D Player's Handbook aims to actually teach you the game. Details of the new Dungeons & Dragons core book revealed by lead designer Jeremy Crawford suggest a far better on-ramp for new players. Better than what, Jeremy? And this article is by Timothy Linward. I have read his pieces before. Thank you, Timothy. The upcoming new and expanded D&D, Timothy, please. It's an ampersand. It is the 7 key. Hold down shift and hit 7. Was designed to, quote, provide a better experience for people coming to Dungeons & Dragons for the first time, end quote, according to lead designer Jeremy Crawford. Speaking in an exclusive press review, Crawford set out all the ways the new book has been rethought to help first-time players. The new Player's Handbook is available to pre-order now and will release on September 17th. A brand new starter set is in the works, which, quote, ties into these new core books, end quote, but may not be as essential as it was in previous D&D editions. Crawford states that the new Player's Handbook will start by, quote, teaching you how to play, end quote, D&D. It's a sensible change. The current Player's Handbook jumps right into character creation, asking newcomers who may not even know what a role-playing game is to fill in a D&D character sheet. That is ridiculous. If you have seeped down into tabletop games, you know what a role-playing game is. You know what Dungeons & Dragons is. That's ridiculous. D&D may be more popular than ever, but the Player's Handbook is still the first point of contact for many newcomers to the hobby. Good. It should be. The art and the how to play chapter represents the duality of the game, showing players at the table and their D&D characters mimicking their motions and looks. Text examples use a 2-column format with the left of the page used for dialogue between players during a game and rules commentary boxes on the right explaining what rules are in play in the example. I don't mind that. I actually don't mind that. This isn't a revolutionary approach. Plenty of tabletop RPGs have used example play scripts, including earlier versions of D&D, but it is a good practice and good to see D&D embrace it fully. Well, you just said other versions of D&D used it. Basic, original, advanced first edition. Holmes Basic, I believe. There are other usability features in the book that show a good degree of thought was given to the user experience. The illustrations in the D&D weapons section include price listings so players can use a section like a shopping catalog. And that's fine. Particularly welcome is the decision to separate out the full rules of the game into a comprehensive glossary. While reference chapters on things like spells and classes will be useful from time to time, the rules glossary will be the go-to location to check how rules work while actually playing the game. That sounds kind of boring, actually. Speaking of D&D classes, yada, 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 48 subclasses, blah, 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 12 are previously established. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Please stop strip mining my Greyhawk lore, you assholes! Oops, only a super chat, thank you. Crawford adds that 16 of the returning subclasses have been so heavily redesigned in terms of features and functionality that they are essentially new subclasses, blah, blah, blah. There are further changes to character origins, don't care. So let's focus on what I do care about here. So what they're, first of all, with respect to Timothy Linward and Jeremy Crawford both, how to play D&D has been essentially part. Oh, TXG, thank you for the membership join. Thank you, sir. We salute you. Has been part and parcel of Dungeons and Dragons from the beginning. Who is familiar with this quote, cursing the thoroughness of the caller? It's from the play example included in original Dungeons and Dragons. I dump his pack out on the floor so he can carry more coins. Poison, gasps Black Dougal. It's okay, Gary sent us. I jump in and grab the cylinder before it can drift downstream. You hear a muffled cry followed by nasty tearing sounds. Am I coming across to you guys? We have had scripted play examples in all versions of D&D that were helpful on how to learn how to play D&D. They're just tooting their own horn. Wargamer is doing the lifting and astroturfing for them here. All right. How to play D&D has been an essential part of Dungeons and Dragons from the get-go. Dungeon Minister often curses the thoroughness of the collar. You knew that when you put it on. I didn't tell you to go to seminary. You started off LARPing under the streets of your hometown in Wisconsin. So that's on you, Padre. But there's it's not. First of all, I think it's good that they want to do this. But guys, you're looking at a dude who came up playing Dungeons and Dragons. The first year, all I had was a copy of Keep on the Borderlands and a set of dragon dice. That's it. And I taught myself how to play D&D. I was 11 at the time. This speaks more to overcomplication of the game than it does to ease of play. I'm not terribly worried about it, insofar as when I run events and folks come and they sit down at my table and they're like, well, I read the how to play in the 6th edition, whatever they're going to call it, player's handbook. Because I'm going to be able to say, look, if you had to sit through that, trust me, AD&D is going to be a breeze. Because there's 12 classes total in AD&D. Am I mathing right? Fighter, magic user, cleric, thief. So that's 4. 5, 6, ranger, paladin. Illusionist, 7. Druid is 8. Assassin is 9. Monk is 10. Bard is 11. Did I miss any? I don't think so. So 11 classes total. Granularity slows the game down, and now they're adding weapon mastery. Yeah, well. I was not app dependent. No, I was not app dependent when I was a kid. You get the tactical factor, but you have a group you play with, 8 others, and it's already 40 minutes before I get my turn in a round. Paladin, I think I said Paladin. No, I'm not mad, Kabuki. I just think that on the face of it, it's a little disingenuous to say, we're finally teaching people how to play. Guys, come on. All right? How to play has been part and parcel from the get-go. I'm happy. I'm legitimately happy that they're keeping that in there. And honestly, I like the play example of how they're doing it. Again, it's okay, Gary sent us. You hear a thump followed by a muffled cry, cursing the thoroughness of the collar. We've just had great play examples. And I found the article sort of just completely like, well, it's like earlier this year, not earlier this year. It may have even been late last year. Wizards of the Coast had on one of their web pages, the game we created. No, nope. It's like Disney saying Spider-Man is the character that they created, or Star Wars is the universe they created. That really ain't it. Um, but I don't know. I'm not upset about it. I just thought, I guess I just thought it was funny. It's like, we're finally teaching people how to play D&D. And it's like a softer version of the marketing for 4th edition. Maybe D&D is kind of like every even edition is bad. I don't know. I'm going to get a lot of hate from 2nd edition fans for that. Everybody who loves 4th edition probably hates me already, but no, 4th edition had this thing going on in its marketing where it was like showed a couple of guys playing D&D, and it's like they had like an eraser with feet and like paperclip feet and arms stuck on it, and that was the ogre. And then it was like, oh, this is the ogre, and they're finally like, they have a new mini for 4th ed or something like that. It's like, we're finally playing D&D the way it was meant to be played. Because miniature companies, just Sandra Garrity, when she was working for companies before Reaper, she was just sculpting miniatures with her elbows. They were terrible. God, get over yourselves. Oh, Mark, that's very cool. Yeah, Green Army men are underrated for teaching people miniatures games. I wish somebody had taught me historical miniatures games with my Army men, because I had tons of them when I was a kid. This set, this Mark's Iwo Jima set when I was a kid. It was just, there were tan guys and green guys and a couple little armored cars on either side, and like a green half track and a gray half track, and a rising sun flag and an American flag on toothpick kind of things. And then like a plastic play mat, like a 2-foot by 2-foot plastic play mat. H.G. Wells' Little Wars, absolutely Orbital Era. I just wish somebody had brought that to me, when I was a kid. But I just remember the box was like a cereal box. It was so easy to store. See, I'm with you, Kabuki. I'm going to, that's a good statement. I'm going to put that up on the screen. Kabuki says she feels like skill systems bog the game down. You prefer your fantasy RPGs to be without skills. And, that is, I hate to belabor the point. And if you're a new subscriber and you haven't seen this video, go check out my interview with Gary that I did. Just an interview with Gary Gygax is what it's called. It's right here on this channel. Gary very much did not want a skill system in AD&D. Thieves' abilities are different from a skill system. It's an avatar-based game, is what Gary said. It's a game of avatars. Not in that you can bend earth, air, fire, water, but it is a game of avatars whereby it's assumed that if you're going out into the wilderness and going to stick your head into a monster-filled treasure hole, that you can climb a tree, snare a rabbit, swim, ride a horse, at least reasonably maintain your gear, so on and etc. It's only when you get down into the weeds that you need to worry about specific things that a ranger can do, that a thief can do. Now, you say the right of it, Jimmy. Too many skills leads to the 5th ed problem where players are glued to their character sheet. And I will say this about 5th edition. It really ameliorated the problem, in my opinion, that came toward 3.5 was a bloated mess. I mean, it was a bloated mess of a game. A roll check, D20 checks for everything. And when they clean sheet designed 3.5, they rolled so much of that back. And I tell you what, I would play a 2014 3.5 game in a heartbeat. And I have said this before, and I'll say it again. I have played a first edition AD&D Ranger in 3.5. No problem. In fact, until everybody started hitting 5th and 6th level, I was outpacing everyone. I was getting the extra damage to goblins and to giant kin. I had tracking abilities that were set. All right. And all that stuff that people didn't start catching up to me again until 5th, 6th level. 3.5 had its fans. That's why we got Pathfinder. Yeah. But I mean, a 6-person game of Pathfinder, one combat can take a couple of hours. I've got a 12-person game on my Monday night AD&D game that I play. We have 3, sometimes 4 combats a night that we just blitz through. Damien, you are absolutely right. Damien makes a very good point. They got rid of psionics attack and defense modes and made them telepathic powers that were resolved normally. That's how you fix psionics in AD&D. That's how. Now I maintain keep the attack and defense modes, but just put it in combat. The intention was to have this quick firing mental duel between 2 characters, but it takes so long to resolve that it's like, okay, I got to go do this combat with this character. That's going to take as long as the melee. And if they both got Tower of Iron Will up, neither can really damage each other. It's just a standoff till somebody runs out of points. Shen, you're right. 3.5 it's an engineering game. And I was talking, who was that? Is Tim Imholt. There's 2 ways to make a character in 3.5 and Pathfinder. There's 2 ways to make a character in 3.5 and Pathfinder. And I'm going to tell you what they are. As someone who's played plenty of 3.5, and a little bit of Pathfinder, there's 2 ways. There's the fun way and the right way. There is no in between. If you want to have fun and your idea of having fun is just doing cool stuff, not necessarily the most powerful stuff, you're not going to build for as many characters as Pathfinder and 3.5 have, as many character classes, there is only one proper way to make each. Only one. Otherwise, they're not going to be effective. As effective. If you're a guy or girl, feller or fellette, as they say, where you always want to be the most powerful every time and doing the maximum potential damage, you can only build your characters one way in that game. And by that game, I mean the D20 3.5 system, which Pathfinder First Edition is. Only one way. Now, there may be slight branches where it's like, okay, I take this feat, but then I come back in and I get the feat that I would have taken had I taken this other feat. So, it works out the same. But there are no major variations. As open as they are, you are locked in. And I have heard of Pathfinder groups where people will get legitimately angry if you try and make a character the fun way. See, Damien plays Pathfinder for fun. Played it for fun, not for min-maxing. So, So to bring all this back, to bring all of this back, um, if sixth edition is complex enough that you have to that you have to have the glossary, I worry about it. But they have said mechanically they want sixth edition to be like 99.9% 5e backwards compatible. So I don't see them doing much more than changing the trim package on it. It is terribly restrictive, Jimmy. So, I mean, and again, that's just kind of how I feel about it. You guys may have different thoughts on it. If you're watching this later and you want to leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about that, well, then please, by all means, do so. Be polite. That's all I ask. And if you haven't already, folks, please do click the subscribe button. Click the bell icon for notifications. Because, you know, I like hearing about it. You like hearing about it. So, to move on, let's talk about. Oh, I'm sorry, TXG. I just got to answer this question for TXG before we move on. How is 6E supposed to be 5E compatible when during a live stream they told users they should not mix it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to hold those two thoughts in their heads. Did I ever play MERP? Yes, I did play MERP, and I played a lot of Rollmaster as well. MERP is kind of a easier fork of Rollmaster. It's not easier. Yeah, Jeff from Dakar, it does. It really does. It does have too much healing. Let's take a 6-hour rest. Bob, who was down to 1 hit point and could not have taken a mosquito bite without requiring death saves, is now back to 75 hit points. And he's a magic user. Excuse me, sorcerer. So yeah, way too much healing. Rule Master, Rule Bastard, Roll Master, ROLL Master. Halsey knows what time it is. But anyway, so the week ahead, we have got we have got some stuff coming up ahead. We have a guest on Thursday. I am nailing down the finals of that. So we'll announce tomorrow who our guest on Thursday is going to be. Kyle is out for a few weeks, but maybe guest on Wednesday. Again, I'll have to say, I am sorry the middle of the week is so vague, guys. I apologize. But tomorrow night, what is not vague? We are playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons right on this table. We've got miniatures, we've got terrain, we've got scenery. We've got a great crew. We've got Doomsword, we've got Mark, we've got Thane Kyle, we've got Mobius, we've got Kevin, we've got Dr. Timothy M. Holt. We got 6 players playing through A2, Secret of the Slaver Stockade. And folks, let me tell you something. No, Risa, I would love to have Risa on. But I think Risa will be like this Halloween. She said she would. No, Mark Morrison, you're not on the show. At least not yet, anyway. So the gameplay. Let me tell you a bit about it. If you're new to the channel, in that you have just started following, you've just started watching, you're just enjoying this, let me tell you about our gameplays on Tuesday and on Friday, but more on, well, not more on Tuesday, but either day. We play first edition AD&D. We do it on a live stream. The players play and interact with me, their dungeon master, and you guys watch. Does that mean you just sit there and stare? No, it does not. It does not. First of all, something you should know about my games is we don't have table reads. We don't have script reading sessions. We do not have seasons. We do not have plots. We do not have character arcs. We do not have extensive backstories. We do not have season-ending cliffhangers. We play first edition AD&D. You guys watch. Now, maybe you're thinking, okay, all right, you don't do it like Critical Role, but still, why would I sit here and watch you people play an RPG? That sounds stultifyingly dull. If you have not played AD&D, or if you haven't played in a long time, I want you to be in the audience. I want you to be in the audience because I want you to ask questions. Why are you using a D6? What do you mean by segments? Wait, why are they charging before initiative? What is that reaction roll all about? Why are you saying inches of movement? Etc., etc., etc. Ask those questions. I will answer them. If I miss your questions, guess what? I have the smartest and the best looking audience of classic tabletop RPG 5 nights a week live stream on YouTube. Nobody can challenge me on that. Nobody can. I love all my fellow YouTubers, Dungeon Minister, Yang Yan Zhao, Diversity and Dragons, Harmony Ginger, Timothy M. Holt, T-shirted Historian. I maintain that I am the best and have the best audience of the 5 night a week first edition AD&D live streamers. Nobody can argue this with me. So you be here on Tuesday nights and on Friday nights and any other night we're playing a game, and you ask a question and I will answer it for you. My goal is not simply to sit here and play D&D and make you guys watch. No. If I just wanted to play D&D, I would never turn the internet on. My goal is to educate. My goal is to help people understand how awesome first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons can be, or first edition Gamma World if you're playing on Friday night, which is a highly compatible with AD&D game. And hopefully, what you'll take away from that is not, Bill can do funny voices. Bill doesn't know how to set up lighting or focus a camera. Hopefully what you'll take away from that is, I gotta try me some of that first edition AD&D, and I'm gonna go through Drive-Through RPG, and I'm gonna buy a Dungeon Master's Guide and a Player's Handbook, and I'm gonna get into some of that Gygaxian goodness. That is what I hope you will do. Hey, how are you, Engine Joe? Good to see you. Oh, Jimmy's got a crush on Risa. Mic distortion time. Say, Kabuki, would you like some Delver's Dungeon ASMR? I think it's about ASMR time. I'm going to roll up a character. 4 dice 6 in order. Let's roll the dice. 15. Oh, but I have to drop a dice. Oh, it's only 14. But I'm an elf, so I add +1. Wheeling Dragon, this is like the best time. Watch now and let your eyes defocus. Mark Morris. It's like, oh, gotta leave. No, I understand, Wheeling. Love you to pieces. But anyway, that's what our Tuesday night game is all about. And ASMR with us on the treasure charts and all for you end results. Um, so I hope you will come to the Tuesday night game and watch and enjoy and understand AD&D's for everybody, every walk of life, everybody. You can enjoy it and you can pick it up so easy. It is very easy to learn. It is very easy to learn, and it's pretty easy to master. AD&D, easy to learn, but hard to get out of here. I just got to have a flair and be willing to be an adversarial DM. Boy, howdy, when I dropped the adversarial comment on Twitter the other day, that tweet blew up. It went viral. I think the kids say it went viral. In that it upset people's stomachs. Get me a custom plate for my car, eccentric and dangerous. I don't think you could fit that even on a Florida license plate. 30 pieces of flair. Kabuki says I still shouldn't say, I shouldn't say adversarial DMing. I ought to like send you the show link and just like just pull you on, just bring you on right now and have you explain. But hopefully I can knock that preconception down a little bit in the time we have left. Adversarial DMing is not making D&D too hard. It is making Dungeons and Dragons just hard enough. It is making D&D just hard enough. I have at my disposal as a DM an infinite number of ways, without even going down the road of hand waving, to dispense with a party. That's not the hard part. The hard part is keeping you alive. Outwardly, you know, I might look like Gygax, the 37th level chaotic evil wizard. Inside, I'm cheering the adventurers along. What is the use of playing a game against an opponent who is not playing their full? When you play chess against someone, would you play against them if they said, okay, you can use all queens and I'll use all pawns, except for my king, of course? No. Would you play poker with someone who sat with their cards face out and told you what each suit in their hand meant and could do? No. So when you win, when you overcome a dungeon, when you slay the dragon, stop the evil wizard, defeat the god, keep the goblins out of the farm, whatever it is you do for a victory condition for yourself, it feels good. And I like it that it feels good for you as a player. I cringe when total party kills happen. Oh, I might laugh about it, but I worry. Are these folks going to be so upset they're not going to keep playing? But it's about hitting the balance. It's about keeping the balance. That's fun for me, is maintaining that perfect balance. You know, go too far this way, players get bored. Go too far this way, players get enraged. Everything in perfect balance, as it should be. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by adversarial DMing. I'm not here to cooperatively tell a story with the players. And we all kind of sit around the campfire and contribute a chapter. All right. I'm Sauron in the Dark Tower of Barad-dûr. You want to get the ring in Rodruin? Bring it. Except, unlike Sauron, I'm happy when you do. I'm laughing like an MFer as that tower crumbles and falls over because I know you guys won. And that pleases me. That just warms the cockles of my heart. Better, Rune. You know what, Rune? That is that is plus one internet dollar to Rune. Kabuki says I should use different terminology though, like challenging DM or something. But adversarial sounds so much cooler. See, that's a good thing, Mark. That's a good thing. What can I say, Web of Mutilation? I'm proud of him. See, Jimmy hits a good point here. I won't cheat to save them. I'm cheering for them the entire time. And I'm going to add to that, Jimmy. I won't cheat to beat them. I won't cheat to beat them. I'll play monsters intelligently, but if the spell that can save the party is the last one that the magic user has and it's fireball, I'm not going to jump up, laugh, throw my head back and say, you didn't realize these are fireproof orcs. Ha 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 ha. Because I just decided at the end of the game that I wanted to win. Some people think that's adversarial DMing. That's just being an asshole. That's what that is. And that's not what I do. I'm the DM that's run them down to the point where they have to count squares and make sure when they drop that fireball that it's not going to roll back on them. Or if it is, that the magic user does it to buy the party time. He tells them, run. And then, the music swells and the little gold bead forms in his hand and he flicks it out towards the monsters in slow motion and they're all screaming, but the music, it's silent because the music is over. And, he turns and looks at his friends and closes his eyes as the wall of flames envelops him too. Yeah. Skeleton zombie clerics. Yeah. So that's what I mean when I say adversarial DMing. You still, oh, Jimmy, that is beautiful. That is they destroyed the mummy and got out with the fake treasures. Yes, Pauper. Fly, you fools. I am the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. The dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun. Oh, I've missed your comments. Let me scroll back a little bit. You have up to 42 in the chat tonight. That's awesome. Jay gets it. Making a fair test is harder than taking a test. It certainly is. Without consequences, there's no tension. Without tension, their victory is solid. Better they thought they'd killed him than get a TPK. Yep. So, anyway, so that's the week ahead. You guys got any questions for me? Kabuki, I hope your dislike of me saying adversarial aside, I hope we're on the same wavelength now. Doc Flamingo, hello. Michael Dale, when did you sneak in? Beat the Tomb of Horrors. No, the way to beat the Tomb of Horrors is like this. Look, 9th to 14th level, or is it 10th to 15th? Whatever it is. Look. You bring an entire... if every player brings a maximum retinue and maximum hirelings, you peel the top, you bring engineers, you bring gnomes, dwarves, you peel the top of that hill off and you expose it to the open air. You treat it like an archaeological dig. Curses, ghosts, you have like a revolving door of high-level characters or high-level clerics, removing curses, raising dead, removing fear. You just take that place apart one rock at a time. Oh, there's some pits. Yeah, we got the engineers filling those in. Yeah, we ripped the roof off of that. Okay, we're gonna brick over. We're just gonna brick over that wall with that devil face. That's an OSHA violation. Jeff asked a good question though. Actually, is there anything I borrow from other systems for AD&D, or do I play it as close to raw as possible? Haven't seen much in other systems that I want to borrow, but I don't mean that in the pejorative sense. Like, no, F them, AD&D forever, and it's best and better. No, I think that the systems that I like to play are diverse enough that it like stuff from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which of course you guys can't see what I'm pointing to. I've got Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay hardbacks back here. Um, you know, there's nothing there to really mesh with AD&D and vice versa. So it's not like, no, my system is superior and needs no color. That's not the case. It's when there's stuff that is good and different enough. I just don't blend them. Now, with that said, somebody was asking me about Rollmaster earlier. Rollmaster, well, they're asking me about MERP, but same essential system. Rollmaster started out as alternate combat tables for D&D, for original or first edition AD&D. And then they said, well, screw this. Let's just build an entire combat system. Well, let's just build an entire role-playing game. And so it went off on its own. So it's not like you can't use stuff, but like I would never use Rollmaster's combat system for AD&D because they have very separate goals. There's the games are designed to scratch different itches. Spice and herbs tables, yeah. My single favorite and my least favorite game sessions. Wow. So, my single favorite game session, speaking of Rollmaster, was shooting Rob's character Black Bardigan through the face with an arrow and getting a 66E puncture and killing him for reasons that are too long to go into right now. My single least favorite game session was I don't know. I don't know, because there's least favorite, like, didn't have fun playing the game, and there's least favorite, like, really fucking awkward social situation. Like, everybody got quiet and this isn't fun anymore. This isn't like a good place to be anymore. Because I've had a few of each. Least favorite social situation was I needed to be home by like midnight, 1, and the person who was GMing the game didn't start the game until 2. We literally played until like 5 in the morning, and the rents were not happy. They were super duper unhappy. Hello, Vincent Notobartolo. The GM went off with her boyfriend for like 2 hours to do some 1v1 storyline, and then you had to sit around doing nothing. Yeah, some 1v1 storyline for a couple of hours. Never played Palladium. People have asked me about Palladium system. The closest I have to Palladium is I have the Robotech role-playing game from Palladium. And then, of course, Kevin Simdea blew up a 30-year good thing that he had going. I think there's a new Robotech or Macross RPG out right now, but I don't know. I will say I had an absolute just not fun time when a buddy of mine GM'd some he GM'd some Mech Warrior for us. Mech Warrior, the role-playing game from FASA. And he took the hard times in the inner sphere to mean that literally nothing positive will ever happen for your characters. My character went in to buy a heavy handgun, and it almost ended in my character brutally dying in the gun shop because the gun shop owner was so offended that I was looking to purchase a Stearns Knock 48 caliber pistol. Our mechs would just randomly, like, I was piloting a Centurion, and good Lord, was the dice were just with me, and out of nowhere, my mech developed a flaw in its motive systems, and its movement speed was cut by a quarter. It went from 4.6 to 3.5, for those who are curious. So, yeah, I kind of hated every minute of that. And when I complained about it, he made a big deal about, we all talked a big game about the grit and grime of the year 3025, but none of us really wanted to play in it. Like, well, that's how it is. You've got a mech that's 200 years old. It's just going to develop quirks. Yeah, the guy who, just by dint of the dice, not even good tactics, by dint of the dice, I was doing well. And suddenly my machine is nerfed. There's literally trillions of people living in the inner sphere, and probably untold hundreds of millions of gun stores. And I want to purchase arguably the most common and copied heavy handgun. It's like the Desert Eagle of the Battletech universe. And this guy's so offended that I asked that he starts like insulting me. daring me to say that. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Yeah, it's Mech Warrior, not Fallout. Um, Sci-fi and fantasy, my most influential writers. For D&D, my most influential writers. It's not Tolkien. Tolkien is inspirational, not influential. When it comes to influence, it is a tie between Fritz Lieber and Poul Anderson. I would say those two. Yeah, Rune. That's what dealing with the guy was like. No, it didn't sour me on the system. It actually did not. I still like BattleTech. I still like BattleTech. It did not sour me on 3025 BattleTech. If anything, I like give me 3025 BattleTech, even to like 3030 BattleTech, like that era, that 15-year era of play in the game over like I don't like the clans. I've never liked the clans. And pre 3025, things were actually pretty crapsack. Not like Jason was running it, but so any other questions? Any other questions before we wrap up? Because it's 9:13. I get an AD&D game at 10. Would I say Lord of the Rings is kind of a skin for D&D? No, I would not. In the grim dark of 3025, there's a Viking hats, right? Um, no, I would say that Fafhrd and Grey Mouser is the skin for AD&D. I don't know what it's supposed to be for third edition. Romantic fantasy for third edition. For fourth edition, it's a Marvel comic. It's like a Marvel comic variant where the Avengers are in a fantasy setting. That's fourth edition. Fifth edition is back to romantic fantasy. I don't know what sixth edition is going to be like. But yeah, you can dress it up however you want. The Broken Sword and let's see, Broken Sword, High Crusade, Three Hearts and Three Lions, A Midsummer's Tempest, which is a soft sequel to Three Hearts and Three Lions. Um, so many good ones by Poul Anderson. Annals of the Time Patrol, which is not fantasy, but anyway. Monday Group is playing the G series, Michael Dale. We are in the G series. They are in the Grand Duchy of Jeff. They are currently in the dungeons beneath the steading of the hill giant chief, Nosnera. Although they killed him months ago. They keep doing these hit and runs. Yeah, Annals of the Time Patrol was great. Um, Esoteric Order of Nerdity. I mean, I have at one time owned every edition of D&D. Every edition of D&D. I'm serious. Original D&D. I've had Mentor Basic. I've got Moldvay Basic. Holmes Introductory. I've owned the Rules Cyclopedia. First edition. I've got second edition stuff back on a bookshelf in my bedroom. I had such a pile of third edition for the longest time from the days in the early 2000s playing. I had the fifth edition starter set and like 3 linear feet of 5e stuff that I sold Doomsword. But never any 4e. Never had a single note of fourth edition D&D stuff. There's an idea. Non-distinct vegan bird. I like that. But anyhow, so tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, right here on this channel, we're going to be playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I hope you guys will. I hope you guys will tune in and watch us, because it's all of those things. It's all of those things. So please do tune in and watch and enjoy. As for everything else, guys, thank you for tuning in. Big shout out and thanks to Jimmy Invictus, 4 months a member now. Something he has maintained through his conversion to cyborg. And TXG, thank you for becoming a member. TXG, if you too want to become a member, you can support the show for as little as $2 right here on YouTube. Click right over here. There's the membership button, or maybe it's right over here. I'm not sure. Or you can support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. People have asked me, do I have a preference? Patreon. But if you want to just one stop it all, it's fine to support me here. The next module, the next AD&D module, is coming out this week. So at the $10 level, the Master Thief level on YouTube or on Patreon, the $10 level, every month you get a first edition AD&D module written by yours truly. The May module is late, and then I will get the June module out, hopefully before the end of June. So thank you everyone for hanging out. Tonight, I'm going to leave you with some music here in just a minute, but I do appreciate you all, love you all, and I am going to see you. Let me make sure the filter's not on so I don't sound all warbly and garbly. Somebody was saying, I think it was Rune was saying that he meant that he liked the warbly garbly music, but I'm not about that. Anyway, guys, have a wonderful evening. I love you all, and I'll see you around. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me